Hey everybody, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly forecast. My name is Terence. The week begins on Monday, May the 26th, 2025, with a new moon in Gemini. We have a new moon once a month. It will be in a different sign, and it will draw your attention and your priorities to a new sector of your life. This will be the most favorable new moon of 2025, because there's been a lot of very stressful planetary angles to each new moon since January. But now we have a lucky, expansive, optimistic Jupiter in Gemini, but best yet, Mercury, the planet of information, communications, curiosity, is the ruling planet of Gemini, and Mercury will be aligning with the new moon in Gemini. Mercury is the ruling planet for Gemini, so Mercury is very much at home and very powerful. And this Mercury will be in a trine, the best flow of energy to powerful Pluto. Pluto rules the underworld. That Mercury-Pluto can be great for research, for studying, for profound conversations, for profound insights, especially as the Mercury is also sextiling Neptune and Saturn. Sextile is a 60-degree angle indicating positive opportunities. With communication intelligent Mercury favorable with Neptune, Neptune can really awaken one's intuition, one's imagination. Also sextiling at the same time Saturn, that can bring more structure and stability. So it is the best new moon to bring the best optimism and opportunities of 2025 that will be unfolding over those next 4 weeks. On Tuesday, the moon continues in Gemini, as the moon goes from sign to sign every 2.5 days. By late afternoon Pacific time, that inquisitive, witty, restless moon in Gemini will be in a sextile, positive opportunities to assertive, motivated Mars late afternoon. And Mercury will be exactly in trining the Pluto all day Tuesday. It's being set up late Monday, and it's all part of the new moon. But it continues with our minds, our conversations, our curiosity, all being very much enhanced with powerful, insightful Pluto. On Wednesday, the moon continues in witty, talkative Gemini, goes void of course, though, at 6 a.m. to 10:33 a.m. Pacific time. Moon void of course, mention it every week. The moon is no longer making aspects to other planets until it changes signs and starts the process over. So the energy is flat and unproductive. So best not to be making important new decisions. At 10:33 a.m. Pacific time, the moon leaves Gemini and goes into Cancer. You're going to feel the big shift, because when the emotional moon's in Gemini, we are talking about our feelings. The feelings. When the moon goes into Cancer, Cancer is very emotional, sensitive, nurturing, moody. So it's getting out of our Gemini heads and into our emotional hearts. But right after the moon goes into emotional Cancer at 10:33 a.m. Pacific time, it will be squaring Saturn, structured Saturn, and dreamy Neptune. So around noon, early afternoon, just for an hour or two, that can bring in that moon can trigger a lot of emotional worries and anxieties, but it only lasts an hour or two. On Thursday, the 29th, the moon continues in Cancer, that kind of wanting to stay at home, be more reflective, more family-oriented, but communication discerning Mercury will exactly align with the sun in Gemini. A great day where the sun is spotlighting Gemini ideas, brainstorming, communications, a lot of new ideas and restlessness. But there's still going to be this nurturing side to you with the moon in Cancer. Friday, the moon continues in emotional Cancer, sextile, positive opportunities to innovative progressive Uranus mid-morning Pacific time. It goes void of course at 9:51 a.m. until 1:17 p.m. Pacific time, at which point that emotional moon in Cancer goes into dynamic, romantic, creative Leo for 2.5 days. So right after 1:17 p.m. Pacific time, as the moon has entered 0 degrees of Leo, taskmaster structured Saturn is at 0 degrees of Aries. So that moon is trining or in harmony with Saturn, but also Neptune. That Neptune brings in compassion and intuition. The Saturn helps you become more grounded. The great thing about this Saturn and Neptune, it can help us manifest our dreams or help us start to believe in our dreams. And I've talked a lot about Saturn and Neptune on my other videos. Now, on Sunday, May the 31st, the moon continues in dynamic, creative, playful Leo, but it'll be sextile, positive opportunities to the sun in Gemini and to discerning Mercury in Gemini, mid-morning Pacific time. So the day starts off on Saturday feeling more outgoing, more playful, more sociable. It's good for speaking and writing. That brings in the Mercury, especially in Gemini. On Sunday, it's June the 1st. The moon's continuing in fiery Leo, crossing over fiery Mars. Mars is the warrior planet in mythology. Mars will be in fiery Leo, enhancing all that passion and motivation with the moon, how we're reacting emotionally. This is all peaking around 4 to 6 a.m. Pacific time. By noon, early afternoon, the moon in fiery Leo will be trining or in harmony with sociable, loving, creative Venus in fiery Aries. So as we get into the early afternoon Pacific time, and it's Sunday, there's more of this compelling desire to socialize, to actually maybe even be a bit more intimate, more romantic, more, really opening up to friendships and to your partners. And the moon in fiery Leo goes void of course at 4:39 p.m. until 8:01 p.m. It is a time to reflect. It's not a time to act until the moon goes into Virgo at 8:01 p.m. for those next 2.5 days. Leo is dramatic. Virgo is sensible and practical. The Leo for the weekend wanted to enjoy life, entertainment, be playful. sociable. But as we get to late Sunday, but especially into the next week, the beginning of the next week, with the moon in Virgo, Virgo is more work-oriented, more practical, more getting all the job tasks done. So it's a good way, it's a good sign to start the next work week. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you with my next segment next week. Until then, be safe and well.